to the Week 7 video lecture. This week, we're going to focus on the claim that moral rules are absolute. That is, that they always apply, or that they're always true. Now, in addition to this, in the second part of the Rachel's reading, we get a lot of discussion of Kant's theory of retributivism. This is Kant's theory of punishment, and while that theory is important in the history of punishment, and it can be helpful in helping us to understand Kant's theory of ethics, it's not something that we're going to be discussing. So it's not something that's going to be on any quizzes or on any of the tests. Now, Kant wrote this paper on a supposed right to life from philanthropy in order to respond to criticisms of his theory. In particular, he was catching a lot of criticism for his claim, or his idea, that moral rules were absolutes. And what he means by this is that moral rules are always true. This is what he meant by the categorical imperative, the rules that we have to follow no matter what. Now, critiquing Kant was this philosopher named Benjamin Constant, and he argued against this idea. He said that although we do have moral rules, and we do have moral duties, these are things that there are exceptions to. That is, that there are always going to be those extreme cases that require us to break moral rules. Now, Kant thought that we ought to always follow them, regardless of the consequences. So even if the consequences are really bad for us or for other people, we should still follow the rules. He's quoted as saying that even if the heavens fall or the world burns, we should still follow moral rules. So the criticism of Kantian ethics from Benjamin Constant is that there aren't any absolute moral rules. There are always exceptions. And Kant is responding to this criticism when he creates this example of the murderer at the door. In this example, which is in your reading, a murderer is looking for your friends, and your friend is hiding upstairs in your house. So the murderer comes to your front door, he knocks on the door, and he says, "Do you know where this person is?" And your choices are to either tell the truth and reveal where your friend is hiding to a murderer, or to lie in order to save your friend's life. Now, Kant is giving this example, and he's kind of defending that we should tell the truth. And it's a very weird argument. And it actually kind of backfires, because in the example, we want to say that it's right to break the rule. In order to save our friend's life, it's worth telling a little white lie in order to save our friend's life. And this is Benjamin Constant's point. He says that we should tell that lie. We should break the moral rule. And as a result, we see that there aren't absolute rules. All we have are these rules for which there should be exceptions to. Another example of this might be Kant's rule to help others who are in need. So if this rule were to take place, we would always have to help other people who are in need. And we can imagine a case, perhaps, where somebody gets stuck in a stranger gets stuck in a rip current. This is a very strong ocean tide that sucks somebody out into very deep water. So you can imagine that you're watching this from the shore. Now, according to Kant, we should follow the moral rule, and we should help those people, or that person. However, doing so would put ourselves in great danger. We'd be putting our life at risk. So it looks like maybe this is another case where there's this moral rule, but there should be an exception to it. It doesn't look like that rule is absolute, because the consequences would be pretty bad. We'd be putting our own life in danger. So, and this is the criticism against Kant. This is the criticism against Kantian ethics. It is that it doesn't look like there are moral rules. Every time we can imagine a moral rule, like do not lie or help others in need, it always looks like there's exceptions or reasons to break those rules. Now, to kind of throw a wrench in this critique, I do want to consider one last example, and that is the moral rule not to murder, that do not murder. Now, as a rule, this seems to be the best candidate, or the best possible rule for being absolute. But, and I want to throw the question back to you as something to answer in the discussion forums, would this really be an absolute rule? Can you think of cases where it might be okay to break the rule, do not murder? In other words, are there cases where it is okay to murder? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.